Web3.tv.
Hello, what's up, and welcome back to another interview and another episode at the Traders Brawl podcast. I'm Adel, the host, and today we have Gustavo Montero. Please give a warm welcome to Gustavo. How are you doing?
Very good. Good days for us, Adel. Thank you very much for the show.
Absolute pleasure. I'm going to read your bio
Yeah.
so the audience knows who you are.
Fantastic.
Gustavo is chairman and founder at Carter Capital, USDR Commodities, and Palmer Advisory. Palmer Advisory is a global business that develops advanced fintech digital technology solutions and works with blockchain technologies. Palmer's mission is to help solve the challenges faced by increasing business requirements in digital assets and in sustainability around the world. When in Switzerland, Gustavo, you opened and started Standard Chartered, and it was you were in the board of directors of Kramer Bank. You are an expert in exit strategies and company restructuring. You are also party to the New York Stock Exchange bell ringing ceremony.
Correct.
And went in the board of X shares of the first carbon credit ETF fund floated in the stock market.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you very much.
That's quite a wholesome bio you got there.
Well, yeah, I'm an old guy. I've been around. I've been around the block.
I want to know more about you. So before we get into what you're building and what you've just recently launched, and congratulations, how did you begin your journey? Start with there, and then we'll go to that.
Well, Adel, I'm an engineer by training, right? And I went into finance quite early in my life. I was trained by Pricewaterhouse as an auditor in Switzerland. Then, as you said, I opened Standard Chartered Bank. Then I went to Kramer Bank in the board of directors, but always with a background in technology because of the engineering years. So over 10 years ago, I left all that world, the traditional world, if you will, traditional finance world, to go into the Web3 technologies. Well, at the time, Web3 wasn't Web3, but I would say into digital finance.
Right.
So it started over 10 years ago. So I've been around for a little while in this industry.
I see. I've seen you many times at events. You're also an MC, you're a host, and you've done many fireside chats and panels.
Yeah.
You were also featured in Money Monday.
Exactly.
That was
well
nice.
done. Yeah, it was great. That's a great interview. Thank you for that. Yeah.
And now fast forward to what you built with USDR. Tell us a little bit about that. I hear it's a gold mining company, but tell us the details.
It is USDR is a USDR Commodities. It's a BVI company. First of all, is a sophisticated gold mine company. In simple terms, we acquire gold mines in Chile, Canada, and Australia. And what we do with that in-ground asset is we tokenize it, and we are now launching in Q1 of 25 a stablecoin which is backed up by physical gold in the ground. What's different than other parties doing things that perhaps can be similar in some ways is the fact that the gold we have is fully audited and fully certified via what we call 43101 reports. It's a Canadian standard that certified that a certain amount of gold is exactly in the ground the way you are describing it. So we already signed with the first mine with $16 billion worth of in-ground gold, which is certified and audited. And this afternoon, I'm signing with the second mine owner for an amount in excess of another $5 billion worth of gold, certified and audited. Against that, we're issuing a stable coin in Q1 of next year.
Interesting. And the stablecoin was backed by this gold mine.
Exactly. As I said, it's fully backed by existing gold, audited and certified. Anybody can read the 43101s. They're available for investors in USDR Commodities. So we're doing it by the book, if you will.
Of course.
Remember, I'm an engineer.
Yeah, no wonder. No, and this is a real true example of real world assets where the token is actually backed by a real thing.
Yeah, it's the new world of real world asset tokenization that all the big guys in Wall Street are talking about right now. We're actually doing it.
Yeah, that's what we need. And I'm curious, how did you seize this opportunity? I mean, how did you see this opportunity in the first place and then take it?
Well, the truth of the story is, as you know, we have an asset management company in digital assets, or crypto, if you will. That asset management company called Carter Capital is doing very well. It's doing anywhere between 4 and 9% per month systematically since 2016 by using very low risk strategies to manage and trade those assets. That company, as you know, every time the markets go funny and the markets go down, we all retreat into stable coins, right? We protect ourselves.
Protect.
Normal thing to do. Except that the various stable coins we use, I've never been able to find an audit report for them. And an audit report, I mean, coming from an ex-auditor, a real audit report, not some flimsy piece of paper, all right? Signed by someone I can trust. So that's the origin of it. We decided to create our own stable coin based and backed by an asset that we can have it audited and certified, all right? So that when we invest in a stable coin, in this case USDR, because we're going to be the first users of it, obviously, we're talking about an asset that is fully backed by a real existing asset in the world, in this case, Chile, Australia, or Canada, and there are no issues with that. Anybody knows that that is the asset, that's what we have in ground.
And how were you able to, let's say, own this? Because initially, you would have to have discovered that there's a plot of gold here that's being unused. How were you able to make your mark and say, I want this for me and for USDR?
You talk about which assets do we choose, probably, that's the thing. Well, first of all, the assets exist and that they're owned by mining companies or individuals, right? In the 3 countries I mentioned. Then we actually verify the asset in all the legals and all the technicals, etc. However, the most important part is the 43101 because that's the audit report for the assets. So we had access to a number of mines.
I see.
Owned by
So owners. You don't own the mines?
No. Let me come to that. So basically, what we do is we sign a concession agreement with the mining owner that gives us the possibility of marketing the mine and the assets. We have an agreement with the owner, and the ultimate objective, of course, is for USDR to own the mines.
Right.
So we can have them as our own assets. We're in that process right now.
Okay.
And the mines will be all eventually owned
by USDR. At the moment, you're doing marketing for it.
Yeah, exactly, because we have the agreements with the owners. So
I see.
We have exclusivity on that.
So no one else can take. I mean, at this stage, can they still partner with other companies who want to do something like you?
Yeah, I mean, there is a period of a non-binding and then a binding agreement.
Course.
So it goes through stages, but the idea is that those assets, once they're fully signed with us, they're exclusive to USDR Commodities.
Makes sense. Then you have more control over what you want to do with them.
We're in that process right now.
Wow, wonderful. And how long has it been that you started USDR?
I had the idea 7 months ago.
Oh.
It took me 7 months, of trips to Australia, Chile, and Canada.
And you saw the mines in person?
Yeah, in person. To see the mines, to talk to the owners. And it was only a few weeks ago that we signed the first one. And the first $16 billion worth of in-ground assets gold, we only signed it a few weeks ago. That's when we became public. So, an ex-auditor and ex-banker, so I only became public when I had signed contracts with them. And then, as I said, the second one is being signed today, so it's a good day to do this interview. And we have around 4 or 5 other mines that we'll be signing within the next 2-3 months.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So this is the side of USDR. Now, on the side of Carter Capital, is there any overlap between USDR and Carter Capital?
Correct. I mean, the most obvious one is that we currently use, stable coins that we don't trust because we cannot find audit reports for those assets. So the overlap is obviously that Carter Capital will be actually using USDR, the token, when it's issued in Q1 of 25. We'll be using that token as its own stablecoin in order to protect ourselves and our clients in the markets. The second thing, obviously, is the Carter Capital will be trading that specific coin, and therefore creating the adequate liquidity in the market that we need to do that.
Speaking of the coin, where are you planning to get it listed so that people can get access to it and start buying it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, our lawyers don't let me get into that, but I'll give you a hint. Just look at the top 3 stablecoins today in the market. Everybody knows who they are, but I cannot name them for obvious reasons. And look at the market and the different exchanges where they're listed.
Where they're listed.
We'll be listing in the same market.
Same ones.
exchange,
Okay,
same.
wonderful. That's going to be good.
With the addition of 2 or 3 that have come to us that are very strong, that want us to have as a unique, stablecoin in that exchange. But that's normal.
And with regards to listing on the exchange, as you will have experience with this now, is the listing process difficult, hard, complex, and expensive?
It is expensive in some of these exchanges, very expensive. It could be $1 million.
Million just to list.
Yeah. In other ones, fees are much lower, and there's some exchanges that will want you to list there because they need traction and movement in the exchanges. So pricing varies a lot. In terms of the difficulties, yes, I mean you actually have to submit a certain number of documents, which obviously we have them all because we are ex-auditors and ex-bankers, and do your application for listing like you will do in other public markets, but this is in exchanges, in crypto exchanges. Now, of course, there are differences in these markets, and I can tell you because I was prior to in banks and audit firms. There are differences in the process, but there is a process to list as well. So, and I'm very glad about it. I'm glad there is a process to list. That would be worrying. Someone just say, come and list.
No, I understand. No.
Yeah.
And is there a requirement with regards to community, like in terms of how many community numbers you can bring to the table at the exchange? They expect that you have a certain number of community that you bring.
Yeah,
or is it just all money?
You mean like the 29,000 followers I have daily myself?
Exactly.
I can say here's 29,000 followers in my LinkedIn page. Yes, there are requirements in terms of some level of visibility, but they vary dramatically between different exchanges. So I wouldn't be able to give you one number. They vary. Yeah, but they want you to come in with some level of backing, which is normal, perfectly normal. By the way, you guys call it community in the new world.
Yes, yes.
In the old world, we call it the market.
The market. Supply demand as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful. USDR. Interesting. And how soon, because this is going to be like a hype boost, so to speak, how soon, you said Q1, but like Q1, exactly what sort of time?
I would expect USDR, the coin, to be listed not later than March.
Then March, okay.
That's what I would expect it. I mean, I've done many listings in many markets so far in my life, so I can tell you there are always surprises.
Yeah.
But without any surprises, we should be there in March, and then we will have a very nice surprise for the investors because it is very likely that we will also have a community-driven coin sitting on the side of USDR Commodities, which will not be stable. It will be actually following the index to the goal we have. So basically, when people will be buying USDR, they will be airdropped our community-driven coin, which is actually, the sky's the limit for the value of that coin.
Yes.
Given the fact that we have a real nice pressure on the price of gold.
Let's delve deep into the term IPO for the audience, as we're here to educate.
Yeah.
Initial public offering, as they say. Now, when it comes to crypto, which is listing on an exchange, could you say that IPO in the term of listing, in the form of listing on an exchange, is similar?
Yeah, the process is similar, Adel, but the actual requests from the regulator are very different.
Right.
As you know, in the crypto industry, we are mostly in an unregulated world. There are some regulations, but we're mostly in an unregulated world. And in the case of public markets, in the US, in Europe, etc., is highly regulated. So the process has similarities, but the amount of information, the amount of due diligence that goes when you list a company in the US or in Europe is different. I mean, there's a lot more documentation because the market
audit reports as well.
Yeah, of course. Then of course you have audit reports. You have all kinds of things that you will need in public markets. Now, I would expect that in the future, crypto markets will come up with the regulatory environment, and they will be requiring a lot more information. Right now, they do require information. It's a different set of documents.
So you're launching at a good time then, because it's not so much.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have to produce quarterly reports.
Yeah, when I was asked this question just last week in another interview, and my answer was, because of what's happening. By the way, this is before the new president of the US. I was already saying that, but what I'm saying actually corroborates my view. I was saying before this new election in the US happened that we still have about 5 more years, in my view, in a situation where this crypto industry and the markets are mostly unregulated.
Right.
Before, because of the actual public speeches of the new upcoming president in the US, I expect the next 4 years to be deregulated years, right? Deregulation in these markets. And as a matter of fact, they actually want this industry to grow a lot, for which they will have a level of regulations which is not as strong as it was supposed to be before the election of the new U.S. president. So he wants the U.S. to be a crypto country.
Crypto country, yeah.
For that, the regulatory environment will not be as tough as it could have been with other people managing the country.
But as with the U.S., there's a lot of gridlock between the both parties, the both chambers.
Yeah.
Even if the president wants something, he still has to get it passed.
Yeah, but he has the Senate,
Yeah,
right? And he have the Chamber of Commons as well. So I suppose.
Let's hope.
No, he has it today. So I would assume that things are going to go relatively smooth for the new president in terms of the work he will have to do with the Senate and the Commons. However, it's not going to be so smooth and so soft with some states in the U.S. And this is a federal country where states have a lot of saying
Their
own regulatory environment. Yeah. So I suppose that the fights are going to be mostly with some states that are on the other side of the bench.
Yeah, no, I would expect greater tax benefits, crypto tax benefits, pardons for those who are put in jail for crypto.
Possible. That's possible. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a politician, but I would assume that things are going to go a bit easier for the crypto industry.
And of course, acceptance of crypto being accepted as a real form of money in the U.S.
That's for sure. That's what he's been saying publicly. Also, the several people that he's choosing for his administration are saying the same thing. So I expect that to happen, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. Now, coming back to USDR, the exchanges now are actually providing some audit reports about their assets and liabilities. So Binance Exact, for example, is now showing how much they have in their books, assets. Now, I wonder if USDR, maybe this is not a requirement right now, but is this something that you're thinking of also showing just for transparency purposes? Because you've got audit report.
It's a great question.
Are you planning to show that?
It's a great question, yes.
Assets and liabilities?
Absolutely, yeah. We don't have any liabilities. We don't have any debts. Oh, it's great for us. But certainly, not only the intention is to be as transparent as it is possible, but also it will be, we will auto-regulate ourselves. I want to have audit reports in this company. I want to have the same things I had in the old world because they're reassuring for the investors. So yes, very much. I want this company to be completely transparent.
Very good.
Of course.
That's really nice. That's what blockchain's all about.
Yeah, of course. And we need to go into transparency, no doubt.
Right. Very nice. Amazing stuff. I only have a few more questions before we wrap up. I do want to ask a little bit about, Carta Capital, delving into Carta Capital. The tagline is investing made simple. So I'm curious to know how Carta Capital, in this case, is going to make venture capital investing accessible to a wider audience. Is that one of their goals?
Venture capital, right? That's a completely different animal.
Right.
No, I tell you what Carta Capital is doing. Carta Capital is making accessible to both institutions and private people, retail, the possibility to invest in the crypto markets by using a certain number of criteria, which are very, very simple. Carta Capital, first of all, is a non-custodial company.
Yeah.
We manage assets in the wallets of the clients. So we never have any assets or money of the clients in our own books. The client keeps the wallet. We trade via APIs inside the wallet of the client. Carta Capital does not have any management fees. We don't need management fees because our yields are good, very, very good, between 5 and 9% a month. So we don't need management fees. There's no lockup period in Carta Capital. Someone can come in one day and leave the next. Doesn't make any sense, but There's no lock-up period. There are no entry fees and there are no exit fees.
Wow.
So as you can see, we've done away with all these banking silly things, right?
Right.
Because both my partner, Bilal, the CEO in Carter Capital, and myself are ex-bankers.
Yeah.
So many of the things that we used to do as bankers, I think they were very unfair to the clients. That's how we make it very, very easy for clients to come in, and we also pay monthly.
Is there a minimum capital requirement?
Listen, the website, if you see the Carter Capital website, it lists $250,000 as a minimum requirement. Although we are flexible in our company in the sense if you have a client that says, I don't have 250,000, I have this amount. If we see that the client has a strong potential for growth, we'll certainly negotiate that with him. It's not a problem. So there's a number.
But that does give a round ballpark figure, 250 grand.
Exactly. But it could be less if the client has potential for growth. We just took a client a couple of days ago with a number a little bit, not a lot below that, but a tiny little bit below that. But that person is actually selling all its real estate in Europe right now. So we know that in that particular case, the expectation is for a few million euros to come into Carter Capital. So no problems with have smaller investors in
Wonderful
in Carter Capital.
No, wonderful stuff. It's not yet ready for the retail people because obviously there's more restraints and I think there's more regulation around retail because they're less protected.
Of course,
if you're a high net worth individual, you're not bound by those regulations.
But remember that our investors will retain their wallets in their own exchanges. Right.
So they have full control.
So they have full control, and they are their assets are in an exchange is controlled. Right. It's not just any exchange. And by the way, we only use the top 2 or 3 exchanges. We don't accept small, sort of funny exchanges. Put it that way.
Makes sense.
Into the system. So we want the clients to be to have their assets there. And again, because my lawyer doesn't want me to name names, but I would say the main exchange that we use is an exchange that has an insurance for their own clients. So if there was a problem with that exchange, there's never been one. The clients will recover part of their assets.
What would be your advice for someone getting started in venture capital investing if they don't have a lot of capital to begin with?
You mean in the crypto area?
Or in the non-crypto area? Probably the crypto area.
Yeah. In the crypto area, I would say the first advice I always give to people is never invest on your own. The crypto industry is a quote unquote relatively new industry with a lot of volatility, as you know, and tricky, right? So the first thing is go to a firm such as Carter Capital or others. There's a few in the world that are very good, which are managed by ex-bankers, ex-auditors, people that know what they're doing. And ask them to manage their money. Don't invest on your own. That would be the main advice I'll give anybody. Don't go on your own. You can lose your money. Get the right advice, and then they will manage your assets. And if they manage it at low level risks, as we do in Carter Capital, is all in the website, by the way. What I mean by low level risk is strategies that are very conservative. We're the boring kids in the block. We don't look for 1,000%.
Boring but profitable.
Yeah, very profitable.
Boring but stable.
Yeah. And we've done this since 2016. So, we're quite strong in what we do.
And going back to USDR, now you're in the start of 7 months in, and you've got some plans that you want to achieve. What would be your ideal scenario of I've achieved what I wanted to achieve with USDR? What does that look like?
The ideal scenario is $150 billion worth of assets under USDR or more. These are all gold mines. They're all audited. They're all 43-101 with a valuation which is equivalent to that, obviously, because it's a company with minimum debt or no debt at all. All the mines being owned by USDR Commodities and having a very major participation in the actual stablecoin market. Being one of the main stable coins, and having on the side, as I said, a community-driven coin that can go up in terms of valuation at any valuation the demand ask it to be, which is obviously following the price of gold and the demand for gold.
Wow. And that's where would you see, do you see an exit from USDR? Where would the exit look like?
That's a great question.
Was you have the stock?
Yeah,
No.
It's a good question.
Vision.
I would anticipate that USDR will be purchased
Ah.
within the next 36 months.
Yeah, wow.
Or the other possibility is that USDR gets listed in one of the main public markets, but with the crypto assets in the back.
Wonderful. Brilliant. Gustavo, that's been an amazing interview with you, and great to know more about USDR.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Before we finish off,
Yeah.
I'd like to give the audience some quick information about where can they find more information about USDR.
Well, Carta Capital, there's a website, cartacapital.io, very simple. But you can also get me up in LinkedIn. It's under Gustavo A. Montero or Gustavo Montero. You'll find me very easy. And then you can ask me any questions you want.
Something happened to your LinkedIn a few weeks back. What happened? I tried to
I know it was off for a couple of weeks. No, I was, so I put it off for a couple of weeks. I was updating it.
Oh, okay.
So it's been fully updated and now I put it back in. Because there were certain things I needed to be corrected. I said it's had not been corrected for quite some time. Probably been updated.
Right.
So now it's fully updated and it's fully operational.
It was like,
I know the 29, the 29,000 people that follow me every day were sending me WhatsApp.
What's this?
Crazy. No, it was just I was updating it. It's been updated, and it's now fully operational.
Fully functional.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Gustavo, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to see the success and all the success for you, Carta Capital, Bilal, yourself, and USDR.
Yeah, thank you, Adel, for your time. You always invite us to these interviews. I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas to you and to your family, and a Merry Christmas to anybody that watches this program. And contact me anytime. I will answer you myself or someone from my team. We're very open to any questions you may have. Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this insightful. We'll leave all the links in the description so you can check out Gustavo's profile as well as Carta Capital and USDR. Thank you again. I'm Adel, the host. And I'll see you next time.
Thank
Cheers.
You.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
You. Bye.
Web3.tv